Okay.
So my name is Shaundi Goins. I am a transformation speaker, high performance consultant, life changer for the angelic souls of the world. You know, today, ooh, excuse me, today at the age of 42, I work from home full time, homeschooling my baby boy. My lady's working from home, and so life is good. Just at 40 years old, I left the corporate rat race, wrote my very first book, From Homeless to Greatness, the Shaundi Goins story. Actually, I wrote my first paperback book. That's actually my second book. Um, I hold a master's degree, and, as an entrepreneur and serving college students across 12 countries, as a higher education administrator, because I worked in college recruiting for 11 years and been able to create over $60 million in revenue in that for-profit higher education industry.
Wow.
When you look at my life today, you say, wow, life must be good for you, Shaundi. That's amazing. You're kicking ass in what you're doing as a life changer. What most people don't know about me, though, is what you see today this was not me all the time. There was a time in my life in 2001, just weeks before Christmas of 2001. I'm a United States Navy veteran, but I was a homeless veteran. I was a veteran that was hooked on drugs, alcohol, you name the drug, I tried it or I was addicted to it for sure. Highly depressed because I came home and I couldn't even finish my 4 years of being in the service. And I was heartbroken, and I felt like a piece of crap, actually. I was 23 years old, and I didn't have nothing at that time. Like, the Navy was kind of like the last thing that I had to try to make something of myself. And I lost that because of my addiction. And so when I came home, I wanted to commit suicide. I'm not going to lie, Catalina, because people always talk about, ever since I don't know, as far as back I remember, Sean, you had this potential, you got this potential, you got this potential, you can do this, you can do that, right? And for years, I had all this potential. And people would say to me, you have all this potential. But I couldn't get my head out my ass, right?
Your own story
Uh,
inside your head was a lot different than what people were seeing from the outside in.
mhm. Exactly. And so with all that potential, I wasn't able to live my best life. And so I felt that the world doesn't need Shaundi because I'm just utter freaking failure. And I never forget, on December 9th of 2001, I had it all planned out. I was going to end my life. I drank a whole lot of booze. I was high as hell off crystal meth. And I remember me going to my grandmother's gravesite, and I was going to, do what I needed to do to end my life and just lay down next to my grandmother's grave, because my grandmother was my angelic soul. She like literally raised me next to my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And man, like, God stepped in, and this is exactly what God told me. And he said, Shaundi, you are meant for, you're better than this. I created you to be great. I created you to serve a mighty nation. This is not the end for you. And he said that in order for you to do the work that I created you for, I need you to get clean and sober.
Wow.
And he said, what your mother and father went through to get clean and sober. They went to an inpatient behavior modification program called Cura in Fremont, California. So my mother was an addict, an alcoholic. It her demons became her children's demons. So we were at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. And there
Wow.
was a time I didn't like my mother because I was the oldest of three children. So I seen everything. And I seen my mother go from being my hero to, allowing the drugs and the domestic violence and just having the wrong men in her life at that time take her to the gutter. But see, when you got children and you're hooked on drugs and your life is upside down, well, your kid's life is upside down. Um, but my mother in 1993, it took her to go to jail to get caught up with possession of crack cocaine to get her life together. And Catalina, between 1993 and 1995, my mother got her stuff together.
Wow.
And she's no longer with us right now. She died of cancer, stage 4 pancreatic cancer in 2014. But my mother died 20 years clean and sober. She made
Powerful.
a
Goosebumps.
right. She made a miraculous comeback. She taught me how to turn a setback into a mighty ass comeback. And so in 2001, I saw my mother and I saw my father, who's actually not my biological father, but it was the only man that I know that my sisters and I could call my father. He died 10 years sober, and my mother and my father met each other at Cura. And so I'll never forget. I called my mom up after God had spoke to me, and I said, "Mom," I said, "Does Rita got a bed for me?" Rita and Joe Lacaria are the founders and owners of Cure Incorporated. She said, "Let me go ahead and call Rita right now. I'll call you back." So I'm at the gravesite for my grandmother, and I'm just walking around, and my mother called me back. She said, "Shaundi, they don't have a bed for you in Fremont, but they have another facility called Cura North in Oakland, California, in West Oakland." That's where I grew up. Kind of part of my life when I lived in Oakland. And they said that you need to be there tomorrow, which is December 10th in the morning. And so my mom was like, "Where you at right now?" I didn't tell her my situation because it just would have broke her heart. But I said, I'm over in Fremont. I'm down the street from the house. She said, "Well, I'm at work." She said, I'm gonna come home and I'll come pick you up at about 12 o'clock. He said, just be at the house and Keisha and Latoya will let you in, my two sisters. I said, "Okay, cool." And so, a lot of people don't know. This part of my story, I don't go too deep into, but Catalina, I'll be real with you. I had the vodka in one hand and I had something in my other hand that was gonna end my life, if you understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
And so I had to give this object to a friend of mine. I said, "Hey bro, you know what? I don't need this. I greatly appreciate it though." And then I went to my house, went to my parents' house. My mom picked me up and she put me up in her hotel because my mother was a hotel manager at the Hampton Inns in Oakland. Yeah, around the Oakland airport at the time. And so she put me up in the room. I stayed there, throughout the day and the night. I got hella sleep because I was up on a 5-day bender doing crystal meth. So all I could do was sleep. And Catalina, I still didn't really want to live per se. And I actually wrote a suicide note. And I put it on the ground of the hotel room. And I'm going to tell you how the universe works. So my cousin William, who also was getting his recovery through Cura Incorporated, He knocked on the door. I was out cold though. And so, I guess he got the hotel key from my mom, and he came in, he woke me up, and he was like, "What's up, nephew?" Being that OG cousin of mine. And I was like, "What's up, cuz?" He was like, "You ready to change your life?" I was like, "Yeah, man." It was like, it's not gonna be an easy road for you. He says, "But you can do it because you're going," right? I was okay. And so my cousin, he happened to see the suicide letter on the floor, and he picked it up and he read it. And I'll never forget, he came over, he was like, "Cousin," he was like, "F that." He was like, "No, we're not doing this today." He was like, "You taking your, what butt to Cura, and you're going to get this recovery." And December 10th, 2001, that's where it began. And so I went through 16 months of behavioral modification program. And I actually learned a lot of the foundations of success actually through the 12-step program. Like learning how to live life on life's term, learning how to create goals for your life, how to set, we used to create there at Cura, they called it a collage. What it actually was, Catalina, was a vision board, right? And so it was 3 sections to it. On the left side, it was your before, right? So before was the drug years, the party years, the wannabe gangster years, right? The middle was your current. So recovery, got the AA books, got the NA books. You want to get a sponsor, everything that pertains to where you're at today in your recovery. And on the far right side was my future. Like, what are your goals? And so I put down, I would like to come out here and be clean and sober, living life on life's terms and not, using drugs and alcohol. I would like to go to college one day, get a degree. It's always my dream to earn a bachelor's degree because I know education changes situations, right? Maybe one day I want to, have a family. Maybe I want to have that white picket fence, right? Live the good life like a true American, right? Maybe I want to have a business. Maybe I want to serve people. I'm writing all this, I'm writing down, I'm putting the pictures up, because they said, Shaundi, when it comes to your future, just put it down. Don't have any shackles on what you want to do for your future. Right. And I put all those down. And Catalina, after 16 months, I walked out of there and I finally claimed my independence. My father used to always talk about, Shaundi, in order to be a man, you have to be responsible, reliable, and independent. Well, I finally learned how to gain those 3 things, after coming out of Cura. And we talk about the vision board. My counselor said, "Hey, Shaundi, incremental, do things incrementally, right? One day at a time, keep it simple, right?" And so one of the things on the vision board was to go to college. And the people that was in the program with me who were in there a lot longer than me, so they were at a different level, they started going to college, and so I would see my brothers, I would see them as clients in recovery and saw them rise. And I would see them go to college and like, wow, like you guys have changed your life. And so my counselor's like, Shaundi, you go to college. I was like, okay, cool. So in 2003, I enrolled into college. I went to Berkeley City College to start it off. And a few years later, I got the associate's degree. And at that time, now we talking about early millennia, Catalina. So, an associate's degree was pretty popular to have, right?
It was, right. And it actually is a great thing. It's the first step into greatness. And like you said, it's incremental. Yeah, and based on your story, I'm hearing some things, and I was about to take some notes to basically say that first it started with an intent, right?
Yes.
And with the picture of the vision, something that would pull you, especially when it gets hard, because I think sometimes people think just because they put it on a vision board, it's just automatically, magically going to happen. No,
Hmm.
what you you will have something that pulls you, especially
Hmm.
when it gets tough and when
Hmm.
you feel like giving up. And then you had examples in some way. They served as mentors, but you had example of what is possible. And this is why
Yes.
community is so important,
Hmm.
especially when you start out as an entrepreneur, right? Because you
Yes.
feel like you're going against the odds, like your friends and your family are going in a different directions, and it seems like your aspirations to do something with your life more than they do seems so far out of reach. But
Hmm.
when you have that community and those examples of what is possible, it seems like, okay, if they can do it, so can I. So it
Amen.
gives you hope and reinforces something within you to want it and do it for yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And as a coach, consultant, and an educator, I always preach to my clients and to people in general is you can get very far. You can go far in your life on your own. And there's many people that do it on their own, so they actually think. But
Right.
but when you have a mentor, when you have somebody that has not necessarily been where you are, where you're trying to go per se, but somebody that is a guide for you that can see what you can't see, because we all have
Blind
blinders.
spots. Yeah.
We do have blind spots, and what that mentor does is they can help you widen your vision and help you to see opportunities, and they're a guide for you. And so my counselor Randy Chambers, he spoke life into me. And he was like, Shaundi, you 25 years old. He was like, you don't have any felonies like most of us do, because they were all OGs. They all been to the penitentiary. They've been in and out of drug programs. And finally, when they got the cure, they actually started to change their life. So they saw like 25-year-old knucklehead, but this dude has not really got into a lot of trouble. So they were like, dude, the sky is the limit for you, Shaundi. As long as you stay clean and sober, bro, you gonna be good. Just go out there. And here's the thing. This is the one thing, this is probably one of the most powerful things I learned in recovery. When I would go to meetings, when I go like to Narcotics Anonymous meetings or Alcohol Anonymous meetings, there
Mhm.
will be people there that's been clean and sober for some years, right? So anybody that's like clean and sober beyond 5 years, we call them old timers, right?
That's nice.
And and to people that doesn't understand the world of recovery, you may think 5 years is not a lot of years, but for an addict to stay clean, it's hard for an addict to stay clean one day,
Okay, I agree.
right? If somebody has a month clean, that's amazing. Having 24 hours clean is amazing. Having a month clean is phenomenal. Somebody that has been clean and sober 5+ years, when you're a newcomer, they're like God to you. They're walking on freaking water. And so the old timers would tell their story, and you just be in rooms like, wow, yeah, I'm gonna be like you when I grow up, you know. And so you have all these mentors around you. And I remember one of a lot of the old timers were gangsters, gangsters, pimps, hustlers, right? And drug dealers. And they said, get this right here, man. They said, if you can put the energy that you put in selling drugs, using drugs, pimping and hustling, they said, imagine what you can do in this life of recovery where you can keep all your money. You don't have to go to jail, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, bro, I hustled I hustled. I was an entrepreneur when I was on crystal meth. Catalina, I would walk from one end of the city of Fremont, California to the other end of the city. We're talking about 20 miles one way.
Wow.
Because when I woke up, I need three things. I need me a Newport cigarette. I need me a can of beer. And I need my crystal meth. And I would start from the north side of Fremont, north side of Fremont. And I would literally, ma'am, you got a quarter? You got 50 cents? You got $1? And Catalina, I had my story on point. Excuse me, ma'am. My name is Shaundi Goins. I'm a former United States Navy veteran. I'm just, I fell upon some dark times in my life. Man, if you can just tell me, if you just give me a quarter, give me something, I greatly appreciate it. Right? I had no idea I was an entrepreneur at that time. I had no idea I had grit, grind, heart. Because here's the thing. I'm getting a quarter here, 50 cents here, $1 here. Guess what I was getting? I got the products I wanted, I got my drugs, and I was persuasive, right? Because the one goal that I had as an addict was to use that. I didn't care about nothing else at that time. So my goal, we're talking about goals, my goal was to use, right? I started out with no money in the morning all the time, because when I do get money the night before, I'm smoking it up, using crystal meth and drinking and smoking, right? So in the morning, I had zero, right? And throughout the day, I would come up. I'm going to get my money, right? So I'm looking back and I'm listening to the old timers in the meetings, and I said, yo, what they talking about is right. If I can take all that crazy, psychotic, insane energy and put that to good use, what the hell can I accomplish? And I did that. And so, the degrees began to happen. Life began to change. I went from going from job to job to actually having a career. I went from being that homeless individual that people would like run from, or be like, oh, here we go, somebody else asking for some money. I went from being at the bottom of the gutter to becoming a pillar of society. I began to change lives, in recovery. And, one of the things I had on my vision board was I didn't have the answers at the time, but I knew I wanted to do something great. I knew I wanted to help people at a grand scale, because that's what God told me that I was born for back on December 9th, right? 2001. And so, success is leaving clues, because I'm doing good, right? So I'm in college. I got a job. I became a substance abuse counselor.
Wow.
Go freaking figure, right? Addict turned substance abuse counselor. And I did that for 4 years. And Catalina, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I love serving the addict that still suffer, right? And in 2007, Catalina, we grow. There's levels to this. And I was at a point, I was like, man, God, I'm happy. I'm accomplishing these goals. I'm helping people. But my intuition was saying, Shaundi, this is great. You're doing phenomenal. However, it's time for you to go to another level. And so I remember me in 2007, I was like, man, I'm blessed to be a counselor. I'm blessed to be helping the addicts that still suffer, but I want more. And I don't know why. And I said, I don't know what's going on with me. I'm grateful for what I have, but I feel like I'm more.
Right.
Expansion. And so let me tell you, when you think you don't have the answers and you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're serving your life's purpose, success leaves clues. So I'm at a community recovery center in Oakland, California. we would, my boss, my site director, Mr. Ellis, God bless him, he would have these VH tapes, before the CD and
I
the,
know some
yeah,
people don't know those.
they don't know about, these millennials don't know about that, the streaming and Hulu and
I still have
Netflix.
some.
My friend of mine still have one, but there was this guy name on the VHS tape, and his name was, ready for it, Les Brown. And I said, who in the hell is this Les Brown? I said, well, if it's in Mr. Ellis' movie library, it must be something good. So I can take this video, get some gems from it, and I can teach it at my group. So I put it in, and I see this guy, Les Brown, on this stage, and there's a crowd of people. And I didn't know who the hell he was. He was doing a speech, and what really resonated with me with Les Brown was, his topic is you got to be hungry, and you got to be hungry for life. You got to be hungry for what you want to do. You got to be hungry to become great. And he would say, with vigor and passion, he was like, there's greatness in you. And Les he lit my spirit up. Everything that he was saying in that seminar, it just raw. And Catalina, after watching that tape, it was next level, because this is what I said right here. I said, man, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want to do what he does. Because this dude is inspiring people. He's getting people pumped up. He's teaching people these success, strategies. He's telling people that they can accomplish their goals. And he's telling people that you can do the impossible, right? I was like, yes, that's what I was born to do. Yeah. And so let me just tell you, that was the next level of my journey. And so, in mentorship, don't worry about the how, like, how am I going to get there? How am I going to achieve the life that I want to live? Have the goal. If you identify the goal, get around people that's going to help you go to the next level. Don't worry about the how. When you're walking your life's purpose, I promise you, the answers will come. Because let me tell you what happened. So I got the vision from Les Brown. I said, I want to be a speaker, which we all know today that Les Brown is considered one of the greatest motivational speakers of our time. He was a motivational speaker. He was a trainer. He was an inspirator. He was a life changer. And so in late 2007, I departed from, the substance abuse counseling career that I was in. And a great friend of mine who was in business, here we go, who was in business. And she said, she called me on my birthday, my 29th birthday. And we caught up. I haven't talked to her in a year. We caught him, and I was like, "What you up to?" And she says, I have a side business." I said, "You got a side business? Really?" She was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "I'm in the health and wellness industry." I said, "Okay, cool." And she said, "What you up to?" I said, well, I'm no longer a substance abuse counselor, and I'm trying to figure some things out. But I'm looking to own a business. I'm looking to get into entrepreneurship. And she said, "Shaundi, that's wonderful." She said, "Shaundi, me and my new boyfriend and I, we're in business. And Shaundi, I think you'll be a phenomenal entrepreneur." I said, "Really?" She said, "Absolutely." She said, "Shaundi, I've known you for a few years now. I saw you coming before you did, right?"
Right.
And so she says, "I'm working with," get this right here, "I'm working with a multi-millionaire Christian business coach." I'm sitting there like, Christian business coach. Now I know somebody, okay, business coach. Okay. So they're millionaires. So they're successful in business, and I guess they coach people in business. But when she put the term Christian, I said, now that's weird. I'm a Christian business coach. Okay, cool. I said, okay, so she's just like us. And she said, Shaundi, her name is Danny Johnson, and you need to go see her live. I said, okay. She said, she has a free website. She said, Shaundi, just go on there. Go to www.dannyjohnson.com. She'll change your life, right? So I said, okay, cool. Hung up the phone. You know, I'm still finishing my associate's degree. I'm making $27,000 per year, and I'm a single father now at this time. So I'm living in California. You making $27,000 per year, you struggling, right? Like, we out here trying to function, right? And it took me a couple months to go on a freaking free website, right? And finally, I went on that website and I said, dude, you gotta go to the next level, but you need some help. So I went on that website and I saw Danny, and I saw the testimonials of people that were at my level at the time. And I said, yo, she's serving regular people like me. Like, she's serving the 9-to-5 guy. And it costs money. It costs like I don't know, it would room, board, the registration fee to go see Danny Johnson. It was about $1,200. Catalina, I didn't have that money. I had no $1,200, but something told me, it was like, bro, if you want to go to that next level, you got to go see Danny Johnson at First Steps to Success in Seattle, Washington, 2007. And so I borrowed the money. And what did I do? I went back to my days of being an addict. Hey, cousin, it's been a long time. How you doing? Hey, you know where I've been? You know what I'm doing right now? Because my family knew that I was doing good. Hey, I'm looking to go see this mentor coach. She a Christian. She's a business mogul. And I said, it's going to cost me my $1,200 to go. I'm just asking for $5. Shaundi, I got you. They gave me 20 in the mail, right? Before these cash apps, right? And PayPal. And I would just ask $5 and I would get this money. I got the $1,200. And Catalina, I went to that event, and it was a 2-day event. And when I walked in there, I had ambition. I had goals. I didn't know how the hell I was going to get to that next level. But coming out of that event, it was a whole new me. It was like, you know, the butterfly is like, you know, shedding his skin, like, oh, you're even a better looking butterfly. And she gave me the advanced skills that I needed to change my life, to change in every area of my life. And, you know, within that 4 years of rolling with my mentor, you know, I was able to get an even better career in higher education as a college recruiter. I was able to get into business. And I went from having a 9-to-5 career to living a life that I love as an entrepreneur. And I want to tell people right here, right now, if you're an entrepreneur, and you already know this if you're an entrepreneur, and if you're not an entrepreneur, you're trying to be an entrepreneur, it takes work to become an entrepreneur. I know there's a lot of noise out there on the internet that's like, oh, you can make 6 figures in 6 months, or you can do this, do that. Yo, check this out. If it was that easy, Bill Gates would have been a multi-billionaire like in 6 months. But even the great Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, like, it took them years to build their empire. So let's just be real. It takes hard ass work.
Dedication.
It takes dedication. Yes, it takes grit. It takes having mentors around you. And the thing I always tell my clients is like, look, stay the course. Stay the course. Live your passion. Take care of business. Like, go out there and take a lot of action. I took a ton of action, you know, on the information that I learned. And I can't put it into words, but you're gonna hit a wall at every level you're trying to achieve. You're going to hit a wall. And the thing about it is, you got to be willing to get to fall and keep falling. in order to overcome that current wall that you're at, that current obstacle, because that's learning, that's mastery. The reason why I'm here today and speak to you and empower people around the world is because I've hit hella walls in my life and I found a way to overcome them. How do you overcome them? You just keep going. You just do it. Shaundi, I want to be able to do this right here. Okay, Shaundi, great. You just do it. Catalina, you want to go ahead and do this and become a world-renowned transformation coach, corporate speaker, trainer. Great, Catalina. You just do it, right? That whole "just do it," slogan with Nike, that's real talk. You find a way to make things happen, ethically, of course, and you have those mentors that says, hey, try this, try that, ask empowering questions. What would it mean for you if you thought about this? Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, let me go ahead and try that. Oh my gosh, I've been stuck for 2 years on trying to get to this next level, and that coach just asking some simple, empowering, open-ended questions just helped you solve a problem that's been holding you back in your business or life for 2 years, and they did it for you in a couple seconds, right?
Right.
And so I always tell people, what are the keys to success? The keys to success, there's many keys to success. And how you will those keys is up to you. But for me, what I learned early on is you got to get rid of your ego. You got to get rid of your excuses. You got to get rid of your fears. You got to get rid of that story that you're telling yourself of why I can't do it. You have to take 100% responsibility for your life and the results. Once you're able to do that, once you're able to take away your ego, you're starting from ground zero. I have no excuses. I'm going to do what I do to get to where I need to go, right? That's number one. Number two is now you got to believe in yourself. Now you got to believe that I am going to become the fucking world champion in my life's mission, and nobody is going to freaking stop me. So you got to have that belief. And the reason why you got to have that belief in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, your product or services, who the hell gonna believe you, right? Once you have that full conviction, you have that belief that you can serve a mighty nation, that right there is like 50% of it. And the next is to take action. Just take action. Go for it. Learn what you need to learn along the way. Mess it all up. Get coaching. Go out there and do it again. And never freaking give up.
Right. Let me ask you this, because I'm really curious. Would you, obviously you've had a lot of challenges to overcome, but would you say you would appreciate life, or you would be where you're at right now without those challenges? Would you be the strong person that you are, that doesn't give up and that provides so much value? Would you had not seen those dark places that you've been in, that maybe allowed you to see people even in a more empowering way?
As much as we don't want to go through pain and suffering throughout our life, I honestly have to say that I had to go through my life's journey in order to do what I do today, because when you overcome severe obstacles, you get another layer of skin on you that makes you even more stronger. Here's the thing. If I wouldn't have had the courage and the willpower and the grit and perseverance to put myself out there and to go to overcome these challenges, I would have been a statistic.
Right.
You come from.
Let me ask you another question, because I know a lot of people that are facing, I don't want to diminish anybody's struggle, because in the end, what happens in your mind is actually the toughest battle.
Mhm.
And there is a lot of shame, and there's a label that people carry, especially, in addiction or in
Mhm.
anxiety or depression. What did you do, or how did you overcome? Because I know when
Mhm.
you're in that, you carry shame. There's no ands, ifs, and buts about it. How
Mhm.
did you overcome that part?
um, it was literally first and foremost, it was tapping into a power greater than myself to restore me back to sanity, because I couldn't do it by myself.
Ooh, goosebumps.
My willpower, when you're addicted to psychoactive chemical substances, your willpower diminishes greatly, and so at that time I didn't have the power to get out of that dungeon that I was in. I had to call upon a power greater than myself, and then I had to just listen to him. And luckily, I had people around me, like my mom and my dad. It was like, hey, you know what? If you want to change your life, you get in recovery, you know. And I tell people all the time, if you don't have those type of resources, just ask. Just open your mouth and ask for what you want. You know,
Beautiful.
that's going to be key. A closed mouth don't get fed. Just ask for what you want, and sooner or later, you're going to find the answers. And if you truly want to change your life, you can. Why? There's millions of people from the present and the past that have come from nothing. You have people that came from third world countries where there is war constantly, and some way, somehow, they were able to go from that third world country and be dirt shit poor, and come to the United States and change their life, and now they're a thought leader, and now they're giving to the world. They're giving back to that third world country where they came at, and they made it out. So my friends, if somebody in a third world country, an underdeveloped country, can go from battling cockroaches and rats for a rotten piece of food, and if they go across the street, they likely can die from a gunshot because there's constant war. If they can survive that and become a thought leader, then what the hell can you do? You can kill it. Go for it. We giving you these gems right now.
Right. And another question that I've seen predominant in, the self-help and the coaching industry is, you mentioned purpose, right?
Mhm.
How do people really get into, that knowing? Because I call it a knowing. I don't think it's something that we intellectually do.
Mhm.
Is how would you walk someone to understand that they're in purpose, or to help them navigate it?
Mhm. So there's two types of people. There's the person that they know their purpose, and there's people that don't know their purpose. And um, the people that don't know their purpose, what I tell like my undergrad students back in the day, I can't declare a major because I don't know what the hell I want to do in my life. Okay, great. When you don't know what you want to do, when you don't know your life's purpose, just keep living. If you got a lot of goals and you want to do this and that, try them all.
Try.
Try them all. And here's the thing: when you try them all through time, you're gonna find out that I love to read, I want to be an author, I want to be a coach, I want to be a speaker. Through time, you're gonna realize it's just gonna happen. You're gonna figure out that these things that I love those, but they're not quite important as being a speaker, writer, and coach. More time comes by. I come to realize that I love being a speaker and writer. And then you're gonna get to the point, because you're taking action and you're actually coming into your life's purpose. You're gonna say, you know what? God blessed me with the gift of writing and speaking, but I believe through my actions and how I show up for people that my gift is to be a speaker, right? And so I tell people all the time, if you don't know your life's purpose, just live. Don't trip off of it. Don't worry about, oh, you need to have one passion and
Right.
focus on that one passion, because that don't work for everybody.
No.
right? Just live and you'll find your life's purpose. If you have your life's purpose, and I try to keep it I try to keep it elementary. You got the goal, you know your life's purpose, great. Let's create, let's create the GPS. Let's create the roadmap to help you get to where you want to go, right? Let's set the goals where you want to be, right? Let's work backwards, right? Um, you want to show them that when you show them that vision, and as a coach, consultant, trainer, you guide them through the process and you let them know up front, you can have this, you can have what you want, and I'm going to be here with you, but just do yourself a favor. Don't do me a favor, do yourself a favor. Please do not give up on your life goals. The only way that you fail is if you give up and if you stay down. There's going to be times, there's going to be bumps in the road. I'm not going to lie to you. You want to become a millionaire, you want to become a six-figure owner, you want to become a professional writer, and you don't have any writing skills, you gotta gain those skills. And there's gonna be bumps in the road. But here's the thing though, I got your back. That's what having a mentor is for, having a support group for you.
Right.
And that's going to walk you through every step of that process. They're there with you when you're going to cry. They're going to be there with you when you get embarrassed. You're going to get embarrassed because there'll be people that are saying, you can't do it. You can't do that because you're trying to be the best in the world. And that only works for special people. And you got to be able to block out that noise. You got to be able to block out mom, dad, your brother, your sister, your auntie, your best friend. You got to be able to block.
Toughest.
Your family, and here's the thing, your family is going to be one of your biggest critics because it's your dream, it's not their dream.
Right.
Right?
I think they mean well, they
Yes,
they
they
do
do.
want to they want to
Yep.
protect you, and they think that if you go out
Yes.
there and you crash and burn, you're going to be in a lot of pain. So in a way, I think they're trying to look out for you. And
Mm-hmm.
also, in you following your dreams, you're also challenging their limitations. So
That's
there's
right.
parts to, the process, but ultimately,
Yes.
find your purpose through action. If you
Yeah,
sit idle and don't do anything, you're probably not going to be in it, right?
pretty much. Pretty much.
So if we're gonna wrap this up, what do you want to give as a piece of advice? Last piece of advice. Obviously, you've shared so much, and I think anybody watching this video will gain, deeper insight into what it is to really struggle and what is really possible
Mm-hmm.
from any point they're in right now. What would be the last piece of advice you want to share with the audience?
You know, um, if this was my last speech, and if I'm going to go to the afterlife, I'm going to leave you with this right here. Get a dream, hold on to it, never, never, never give up, and reach for the stars. And here's the thing. If you can't get to the stars, if you fall aiming for the stars, at least you're going to land amongst the unlimited universe. Because the thing about it's right here, the universe pays for action. The universe will bless you in whatever spiritual, non-spiritual background you're in. You will be unusually successful if you just keep going. And there's millions of people that have achieved phenomenal things in life, and their beginnings was hardship. And this is cliche, but damn it, if they can do it, if Catalina can do it, if I can do it, then you can do it too. That's my time.
That was really powerful. And to finish this up, I just want to let our audience know where they can find you if they would like to get a hold of you.
Yes. So I am working my website. So the website is down, but you can go to www.facebook.com/Shaundi Goins to become on my tribe and get unlimited inspirational success hacks, strategies to help you live your best life.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time and for being so open and vulnerable and sharing your story from your heart. That was such a pleasure. And once again, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, Catalina. Love you, sister.
That was awesome.